Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. It's Thursday morning, and you're not used to seeing me here. You're not used to seeing me on days other than Monday. But I'm here to float an idea that I've had, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If you know me or you followed me for any length of time, you know that I have no shortage of opinions on virtually everything. And very rarely am I at a loss for words. I observe all day, every day, everything going on within the limits of what I can tolerate and what I can watch, which means I can endure about 5 minutes of the morning news, primarily looking for the weather. I have a hard time watching politics. And I've learned that talking about politics for me is a no-win situation because I'm a nobody. I have a voice on YouTube to a very limited number of people. Most of them that stick with me and have become a core part of our community are those that have succeeded on carnivore, which by itself demonstrates a tremendous level of awareness and open-mindedness that I think the average person in this country just doesn't have. And I think the number of the 36 plus thousand subscribers I have, that the number of people that are really members of that community is certainly less than 1,000, and maybe, and I mean, this is sad, maybe even numbers only in the few hundred people that have been around since I started my channel, growing slowly, who are successful on carnivore. And one thing I've noticed, and I've talked about this and especially talked about it on my live stream on Tuesday night, and if you haven't seen that replay, rather than me post clips from it, I would encourage you to go watch it, especially after the 1 hour mark, the closing hour of that live stream. Because the things I say in those live streams are spontaneous and come right off the top of my head, which ironically seems to be the best stuff I put out there, stuff that I haven't pre-planned, stuff that I haven't thought about or scripted. I don't script anything. I haven't scripted this. But what I'm here for this morning is to float out there an idea that I had. And I'm going to start doing it. And we'll see how well received it is. An idea to do more and more of this type of format, this morning coffee, if you will, and release them early in the day, as opposed to waiting to when YouTube tells me is the best time to release my videos, where most of my viewers are online, which is after 3 o'clock usually in the afternoon here on the East Coast. But I have noticed that occasionally when I do put out a Monday rant or something like that, I do put it out as early as I can get it edited and uploaded. I do get a good response on it. And a good response for me is 2,000-3,000 views on a video. By YouTube standards, that's nothing. It reminds me every day that even though I have a channel and I have a voice and I have opinions, I think sometimes I manage to alienate more people than I endear. But that's okay. And the reason that's okay is that I have scruples, standards, core beliefs firmly, firmly entrenched after 77 years of testing them against reality. And I am a realist, and I have common sense. Realism and common sense seem to be two things missing in huge numbers in our society. I haven't decided on a name yet for this particular series of what I hope will become something I do 3-4 times a week. You sit out here, I think I'm going to call it morning coffee or something like that. I never pre-plan these. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but it's usually going to be something related to what I believe is the reality of why this nation is so unhealthy, why we keep getting the wool pulled over our eyes from every direction, and the reality and the causes and the real reasons that, of course, are my opinion, but opinions that have formed over a long lifetime of observing reality and observing bullshit and being able to separate the two. Our information comes at us from every which direction, from every different agenda, from every self-serving direction, usually motivated, in fact, most often motivated by money. And very little actual concern for whether the information that seems to be put out there for us to consider will hurt us or help us, but rather just make money for those who are spouting that information. Now, money's good, don't get me wrong. I need money, I need to make a living. I've never made any bones about the fact that if I couldn't make any money doing YouTube, I would have to go elsewhere and spend my time elsewhere making money. But because I don't kowtow to everybody, I don't kiss everybody's ass, I don't try to get everybody as a viewer, I don't try to appeal to everybody, my reach is limited and my income is limited. But I'm an old man. I have what I need. I'm not out to build an empire or get rich or become a star. I'm out to just do my thing. And my thing is to talk about an area of our problem that very few people talk about. Very few people elevate to the importance of what it is. Very few people know where it came from or why we view it the way we do. Very few people can acknowledge the fact that, and I'll say it again, our carbohydrate addiction lies not only at the root cause of all the other bullshit out there that follows in medical advice, nutritional advice, marketing from drug and food companies, but the reasons, the reality of why, after all of this, it's still not a real thing in the minds of most people. It's never brought up in any talk of addiction, alcohol, drugs. It's never talked about as one of the addictions. Very few discussions on it. So many of our actions and videos that I see act like it's not even a thing, not even to be considered, as they tell you how to make your carnivore pizza crust. And they're well-meaning. They think they're making it easier for you to show you how to eat all these foods, which will make you feel more normal. But I think in the reality of it, that direction of the keto and carnivore messaging is the very thing that's destroying the success of virtually everybody, or almost everybody, that actually gets to the point where they understand that their problems are rooted in their diet and want to do something about it. But when they go and look for information about what do I do about it, they're fed all the stuff, pours gasoline on the fire of their problem without realizing it and without hearing the message. Now, I could shout till I'm blue in the face, but I have such a small audience. I have no way of getting this message out, period. End of story. This is the best that I can do. There are other platforms. I have videos on Rumble. Nobody watches them. So I'm stuck with this and have to make the best of it that I can. And daily, I try to strategize to say, how can I get more and more of the few people that watch me to actually understand my message? And I know my message is correct because I have history here. I've been doing this for over a year. And in that time, I can count in the hundreds the number of people who have retold to me my own life story in their experiences. How many people have told me that they have been unsuccessful in fixing their health their entire life until they listened to my message that I keep hammering out there, accepted the fact that they were indeed carbohydrate addicts, accepted the fact that carbohydrate addiction makes other addictions pale in comparison to its scope and damage to the human animal, realized that abstinence is the only way, if you've ever got a shot at curing an addiction. And most of us are addicts, whether we want to believe it or not, and the evidence is everywhere. So my best use of whatever small reach I have on YouTube is to keep hammering that message. And that's what I'm going to do in the morning on these talks, which I hope will become very well received. Very well received. Well, I think I'm going to call it, in one form or another, morning coffee. I'm going to do a short one of these, maybe 5 minutes, hopefully no more than 10, a few days a week, whenever I feel like it. And I'm going to talk reality, common sense, and try to focus like nobody else really is. There's a couple of other people, like Rob Sivas, who calls himself the Carb Addiction Doc. But his answers for curing addiction are basically just, you need a bridge. You don't talk about the root causes of these addictions, where they came from, why they're real, why we can't fight them, why we have no self-control. Their explanations aren't rooted in evolutionary biology of where all these different chemical pathways came from and the importance that they played in the survival of life before us. The answers are all in there. They're all in the genetics. They're all in the biochemistry of every living thing on this planet, from the bacteria to us. And they all explain it elegantly. And nobody's telling that story. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But I'm going to start doing these things. I will probably have other videos that may come out in the afternoon, the cooking videos, the live streams, the walk and talks, the cook and talks. But the main thrust of my channel is to try to change the way you think about this problem that has plagued you your entire life. And what I did after 75 years of unsuccessfully trying to solve it, that's led to the fact that I'm where I am today. And the problem is gone. And I'm not a superhuman. I'm not Superman. My physiology is the same as yours. But I did find something that worked. And more of us need to talk about this frequently and in your face. So that's the plan. That's the plan. I hope you enjoy these morning things. They may go in any which direction on any given morning, depending on what's on my mind. But like we watch the morning news, I hope that you'll get used to and look forward to a little dose of Mitch, having some coffee first thing in the morning, maybe puffing on a cigar, maybe not, trying to talk just simple fact, logic, and common sense. Something missing in just about every discussion about every topic in our society these days. Just look around. Just look around. So there's a little introduction to some of the things I want to bring into my channel that I hope will be of more help to you, like these concepts were to me, than all the other noise and all the other well-meaning influencers in our space and every other space. All well-meaning people with great messages, most of them. And this is in no way is meant to demean the Ken Berrys or Sean Bakers or Anthony Chaffees or any of the people that have devoted their life to trying to heal humanity and the problems that we have. This is just going to be a different slant on how to look at it. So maybe you can have that epiphany that I had 2 years ago and realize what you need to do to finally, once and for all, gain the health, lose the weight, fix your problem, and most importantly, kick the strongest and most prevalent addiction the human race has ever known: carbohydrate addiction. Probably see you tomorrow morning. But for now, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.